So whether it is individual sensation of individual sense organ or collective built up, collective sensation of all the collective sense organs during the sex, in whose presence you know it, all these things lead you there. Listen carefully now. All these sensations you love because they bring you in touch with yourself. Vishayanande Brahmananda. In every sense pleasure, you come in touch with yourself. Not knowing it, you repeat the sensation. Are you getting that point, please? Not knowing it, you repeat the sensation. When you repeat the sensation looking for happiness, you are a slave. If you recognize that, then you choose to repeat a sensation, you are a master. What is the difference? Simple. You are happy, you see the happiness in every sensation, and you choose to repeat. That is your choice. When you choose to repeat, you also choose not to repeat. But when you are looking for that sensation, are you getting that? When you are looking for that happiness in that sensation, inevitably you have to do it. That is why you become a slave. This is the difference between indulgent and the wise man. Indulgent means who is consistently looking for happiness in that. That is why distracted. When you are happy with yourself, you choose to see or not to see, taste or not to taste. Then what happens? As even the individual sensation, you are free from the hold of the individual sensation, you can also be free from the hold of the sexual feelings, ecstasy, call it sensations. Why? Now it is your choice. That is why, as even hearing, seeing, tasting, touching is not a problem, sex also is not a problem. Understand that way. Simply telling, no, what happens? The sex becomes a problem, touch becomes a problem, taste becomes a problem, sight becomes a problem. That is why you end up in creating a problem. It must be your choice. And see now the ultimate. This thought came in the morning as I was, before coming to class, I took it over and thought over a little. One thought came. Now if you see this much, in whose presence, please see, yena, in whose presence you see, you hear, taste, touch, smell, individual sensations, or the collective one in a physical relationship, sexual relationship, etadvaitat, that indeed is this. Now, if you understand this, should you be interested in yourself or you are looking for insight in another more exotic sound, more exotic sight? You understand now the meditation? You understand? In whose presence you are aware of sound, touch, taste, smell. That means this is not a sound, not a touch, not a smell. Now in the name of meditation, what you are looking for? Instead of physical sights and sounds, now you are imagining a sound or a sight. So people equate, mostly so-called religious people will equate the subtle visualization, thoughts and sensation, lights and colors and other things as meditation. That is also drishyam. That is also seen. So by chance there is a projection, don't take it as the signals from the land of eternity. No, don't think about that. That is another projection. Swamiji, you are too much talking like this. Oh, I see. You know Upanishad what he says? Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi yad idam tad idam mitu na idam yad idam mitu upasate. Understand that Brahman to be yourself, not this what you are worshipping as this. anything that is subject to objectification, if it becomes an object of your upasana, that is not the truth. The subject is not the object. So whether it is a thought object outside or a thought inside, if it is an object, it is not the truth. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhina idam yad idam iti upasate. If you hold on to something as idam upasate, you are meditating on that, concentrating on that. That is not the truth. Because that is the truth. Drugevanatu drushyate, the seer which cannot be seen. Are you getting that point, please? So tight. So which thought you should look for? Which perception you should look for? So you deny yourself a perception, whether it is individual sensation or sexual sensation, physical sensation, then looking for another imaginary sensation. I saw one reddish light, green light. I was shivering. I was inside. What are you talking? Why? Because, as I told you yesterday, everything that we know, I don't need a teacher to come and tell me. Therefore, shall we go for the bizarre? Are you getting that point? Nobody need to come and tell me I am mortal. I know I am mortal. Suppose somebody says, if you look at a sunrise, that is the truth. I have seen enough sunrise. Right. Then how do you believe if you see a sunrise inside your head, that is the truth? What? Imaginary things. In truth, there is nothing left to imagination. It is yourself, the absolute. So, in whose presence you see individual sensation. Therefore, make your every experience meditation.